Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard here, and today is a monumental day because it marks the official end of my Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle series. So, in the same way that I ended my Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle series about a year ago, I thought it would be cool to take a look back at some interesting facts and figures about the series as a whole. So I prepared this short presentation for you guys. But before I get into that, I just want to take a second to say thank you to everybody who's been watching and supporting the channel over the few years that I have been doing this. I really do appreciate all the positive feedback that I've received, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. It all does mean a lot to me, and at the end of the day, that is what keeps this channel going, so thank you all for that. And without further ado, we are going to get into the presentation. So I want to begin with some general stats about the series. So I've had a total of 50 battles posted to the channel here on Sun and Moon, 44 of which were singles, 5 of which were multi, and only 1 of which was a battle royal. So kind of the same layout as I had in ORAS, only about half the battles though, because my Sun and Moon series only lasted about 8 months versus ORAS lasted about a year and 9 months, so more than double the amount of time, so about double the amount of battles. I have been cranking out battles more frequently on Sun and Moon, which I think is a good thing, but kind of the same layout, primarily singles, because that is the game mode that I enjoy the most. Those are the easiest types of battles to come by. That is what all of my teams are really designed for, is singles. I do enjoy playing multi quite a bit, especially if you get 4 people together that you know that you can kind of coordinate it easier, but those battles are harder to come by, also harder to narrate too, so same deal with battle royals, just harder to come by and harder to narrate, so that is the reason for the proportions. I still haven't posted any doubles battles, just because I don't really enjoy doubles too much. I really enjoy singles a lot more, so that's kind of the reason behind that. So of the 50 battles that I had, I won 39 of them and lost 11 of them, so that brings my win percentage to 78%. So kind of the same deal that I had in ORAS, for those of you who might remember. I've said this before, and I will say it again because it is true. I'm not out to make myself look good here on this channel. That is not the purpose, nor will it ever be, nor has it ever been. The purpose of this channel is, and always will be, to entertain you guys and for me to have fun. So I still feel that the best way I can do that is by posting the most competitive Wi-Fi battles I have, win or lose. Obviously, I can't post every battle that I have, but I strive for accuracy, and I try to give you guys an accurate representation of how well these teams that I create do in battle. Team building is something I take a lot of pride in. It is one of my favorite things about this game. So I try to be as accurate as I can with that. So that win percentage does mean something to me, because I faced a lot of very difficult opponents and a lot of very difficult teams here on the channel, so it does mean quite a bit to me to have a good win ratio like that. So moving along, the next thing I want to cover is a list of opponents that I've faced here on the channel. So you will see I've faced a total of 42 different opponents here on Sun and Moon. So I have them listed from top to bottom. So first I have the player's name, then the first number after their name is going to be the total number of appearances they've made in Sun and Moon, and then the numbers in the parentheses, the first number is going to be the amount of times that I defeated them. The second number is going to be the amount of times they defeated me, and the third number, if there is one, is going to be the amount of times we teamed up in multi-battles. So, as you can see, my new friend and fellow PokeTuber Joey Fontaine is actually at the top of the list, having made 7 appearances here on Sun and Moon. followed by a tie between my old friend and Pokemon mentor Cairo at 5, along with my longtime girlfriend Sarah, also at 5. Then after that, we have Jordan, aka CrashLove37, old friend of mine and also fellow YouTuber on the channel CrashLove Gaming. And it just kind of filters down from there. So only 7 people actually made more than one appearance here on the channel. Again, kind of the same deal as I had on ORAS, which is the majority of the people that I battle on the channel are just random people that I encounter online. So I don't really have any way, especially with the new Festival Plaza system in Sun and Moon, I really don't have any way to kind of track them down again and get rematches, which I would like to get more rematches with more of these people, especially the people who beat me the first time around. But you know, that is just not possible most of the time. So really everybody who I've had multiple matches with are people that I know in one way or another that I can coordinate having multiple matches with. So I think I do have a better ratio of less opponents, more rematches in Sun and Moon than I did in ORAS, which is good. That is kind of what I'm striving for, but still the majority of the people here are just one-hit wonders. Also, one more thing to note, if there is an asterisk next to the name of the person, that is because they've made an appearance on both Sun and Moon and ORAS, so there's actually only 5 people who fit that bill. Of course, one is going to be Cairo, formerly known as Milo from ORAS, then my girlfriend Sarah, of course, Rocky, friend and fellow YouTuber, although he is kind of out of Pokemon for right now, so he hasn't been around too much, unfortunately. Then also Samuel, another YouTuber who I've faced back on ORAS, and also we have Sean, who is a fan of mine from YouTube, who I've faced once in ORAS. So moving right along, next we have our list of the different Pokemon that I've used here in Sun and Moon. So a total of 36 different Pokemon that I've used this time around, a little bit less than ORAS, but again, it doesn't exactly even out because ORAS ran for so much longer than Sun and Moon. So I have the name of the Pokemon, special form, either a Alolan form or Mega Evolution, next to that Pokemon if they had one that I used, and then the number next to the name is going to indicate how many battles they appeared in the channel. So you can see at the top of the list I have tied for first my Alolan Muck, Salazzle, Mega Scissor, and Staraptor, all having made 9 appearances in battle, and then it just kind of filters down from there. Actually, all the way at the bottom of the list, you will see that the bottom 3 are going to be my Decidueye, Primarina, and Florges. Only each made 6 appearances, and as a side note, I don't count it as an appearance for the Pokemon if they didn't actually switch into the battle. If they were just on the team, I don't count that. So it is pretty tight around 7 and 8 for each Pokemon. So that is just kind of because I had 7 battles with each team. I really had 6 core teams made up of 6 different Pokemon each, and I had 7 battles with each team in singles, so that's kind of the reason for the number of appearances being tight around 7 and 8. And then, of course, I had some remixes and in the multi-battles and the Battle Royal also. There are 7 Pokemon of those 36 actually who were also used in ORAS, so I actually marked those with an asterisk as well. So those Pokemon would actually be going from the top. We have Scizor, of course, Gastrodon, Charizard, Excadrill, and then Goodra and Azelf, and lastly the Florges. So those were the Pokemon that I used in both series for one reason or another. Either I just liked them and wanted to bring them over, or they would just make a really fitting addition to a team. So again, as I said in ORAS, really the only thing that any of these Pokemon have in common is I just really like them a lot. I do like a lot of different Pokemon, and I try to get a good mix of Pokemon on the channel, but at the end of the day, I am really going to build a team based on a few Pokemon that I like. That's just kind of the way I do things. I'm not going to use a Pokemon just because it's OP. So there is that. So next up I have type usage for you guys. So of the types, I used the most of fire and water this time around with 6 of each of those types, then followed by fighting, ground, and fairy with 5 of each of those types, and then it just kind of filters down from there. Actually didn't use a single rock type throughout Sun and Moon, which is kind of the counterpart to ORAS, where I didn't use a single ice type. Those just kind of tend to be weaker types in my opinion, so that's why they're on the lower end of the spectrum. But it is pretty tight around 3 or 4 of each type used. I really tried even harder in Sun and Moon than I did in ORAS to try and get a good mix of pretty much all the types for you guys to make things as interesting as possible. Also trying to counterbalance that with using Pokemon that I enjoy. So that is just kind of the deal with that. And finally, a new thing that I added this time around is how many Pokemon came from each generation that I used. So at the top of this list, I actually used the most Pokemon from Gen 7 with 15, which is actually almost half of all the Pokemon that I used in Sun and Moon were new Gen 7 Pokemon. That was kind of done on purpose for 2 reasons. One, because I actually did enjoy Gen 7 a great deal, and I enjoyed most of the Pokemon that came out of Gen 7 and wanted to give them a shot. Most of them actually were competitively viable, so that was really cool. But the other thing is, I really did want to use more Gen 7 Pokemon to try and promote the new generation as best I could, to try and give these new Pokemon a chance, because a lot of times Pokemon fans are really stuck in the generations of old, and I'm just as guilty of this as anyone else, so don't get me wrong. So I did want to try and do something different, break out of that mindset, and go ahead and use as many new Pokemon as I could. So after that on the list, we have Gen 6 with 7 Pokemon, and then it just kind of filters down from there. But at the top, you can see the newest generations are right up there. So again, that was just kind of done on purpose. Again, trying to use new Pokemon that I have never used before, just trying to do more different things to try and keep things as interesting as possible here on the channel for you guys, and also to make things more fun for me as well. So that is basically it, guys. There you can see my Mega Evolutions from Gen 7 that I used. But that is it, guys. So again, thank you to everybody who's been watching and supporting the channel all this time. I guarantee you, even though this is the end of Sun and Moon, this is definitely not the end of me. Which actually feeds into my next announcement. The next video coming up is going to be a channel update where I'm going to talk about where I will go from here on the channel. So Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new videos in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.